All right, how's it going, everybody? Happy Sunday. My name is Ian Douglas. I'm the author of the website Tech Interview Guide, and today we are joined with Aditya. So, Aditya, thank you so much for being available. Aditya was going to be on the stream last week, but circumstances prevented that. So happy that we could reschedule and get you back on right away. Um, cool. Well, welcome to the stream. Most of the stream is around like just learning tips and tricks about getting through the interview process, even not even within the tech industry. A lot of the advice about building out a resume and talking about the value you bring to a company is applicable no matter what kind of industry that you're in. But a lot of my background has been in the tech industry. So Aditya, why don't you give us a bit of an introduction? Tell us about you. Where are you from? What do you work on? What's new in your world these days?
Sure, Ian. Thank you so much for having me over. Hi, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. I am Aditya. I'm currently joining in from Bangalore here in India, and I work as a developer advocate at a little tech company called AppWrite. Um, so, a lot of my job is all around helping developers work with our product, which is heavily a developer oriented product. It is something that you would call a backend as a service, which means that if you are an app developer, if you're a web developer, and you want to work on your applications and solutions, you focus on the app, we handle the rest. We've got our own APIs and services for databases, storage, authentication, um, and much more. We've got a real-time server that's constantly running around all of these as well. So essentially, we handle your backend, and you just worry about your own application. Um, so I do have a ton of fun that way, just helping developers develop.
Awesome. Well, Fool in chat says they need a front end as a service. I think most of us as back end developers would appreciate having a front end as a service for sure.
I so relate with that one because um, I am a backend developer myself. I am a .NET boy. If I'm frank, just started learning JavaScript, and the moment I start working on JavaScript, I just miss my C sharp
Yeah,
time.
that's
So
funny.
I relate. Yeah.
Yeah, good times. I always wondered with the WebAssembly whether someone would come out with like compilers or transcoders or whatever that we could actually write, C sharp or whatever in the browser and have
You
it,
actually
you know.
can.
Well, they
Now
they
you
did it
actually
with they did it with
can.
Python, didn't they? Didn't they make like a PyScript or something?
Yes, there is one for Python, and even with C Sharp, you can do that with Blazor now.
Hmm.
And the Blazor ecosystem has been growing for sure.
Okay,
So
interesting.
it's becoming more and more viable as an option, especially for those who are coming from uh, backgrounds with maybe ASP.NET. And I think honestly, um, there's already support for C Sharp. Python was the next big one. I think we need something for Java and PHP. I think those would be really, really good to have,
Interesting.
considering the number of backend developers and full stack developers you have around working with those two.
That's cool. Yeah, Fool says Blazor is basically C sharp in the browser. That's cool. I'm gonna have to look into that one.
Yeah.
Very cool. So, how did you get involved in tech? What was your journey becoming a programmer? What got you interested in that? How did you study development and so on?
Absolutely. So I think with me, I was really very fortunate because I got exposed to computer science back in school. Back in middle school, I remember participating in a little initiative called, it's actually not little, it's a pretty large initiative now called the Hour of Code, which is run by
Mhm.
code.org, which is one of the largest nonprofits who focus on coding education for school students all around the world. They work in, I think, they have been present in over 180 countries now.
Oh,
And the Art of Code started back in 2013 when I was in middle school, and I got to participate that very first year. And their editor had a very block programming experience, which they made a lot more fun by using cases analogies that involved stuff like Angry Birds or Plants vs Zombies, and
okay.
the year after they had Minecraft join in, and that's what kind of really captured my interest in computer science. Following which, I did pick that up as a subject in middle school and high school. I wrote a little bit of code Java, just playing around, learning data structures and algorithms and the fundamentals of some of that.
Okay.
As I entered university, I got involved with more and more communities outside, and that kind of exposed me to C Sharp and .NET. which I touched upon by trying out how to build Windows applications. And I went towards Xamarin for cross-platform application development, just because I wanted to build fun little apps for my phone. I'm an Android user, and this could let me build for Windows and Android together. It also had support for iOS, but since these were my two platforms, it kind of just let me play around and hack around, make some projects that I wanted to with all of these, and that really opened up this entire world of software development for me. So I think school and then college were the two big factors.
Okay,
And I think from there on, communities, hackathons, internships, that's what brought me till here.
that's great. That's pretty cool. Um, so let's talk about hackathons. So a lot of people going through school, they work on projects and so on, but a lot of those projects end up looking the same. And I've had a chat recently with people about, when you come out of school and all the students have done the exact same projects and all your resumes look exactly the same. Like there's nothing that really differentiates you from someone else. Where, doing something like a hackathon event, while it can feel very busy as something to do on top of everything else while you're studying and maybe working and like all these other things, they can really give you a lot of interesting projects for your resume that then make you stand out. Like it's going to really differentiate you, but they do take a lot of time and they do take a lot of effort and so on. You're no stranger to hackathons. So tell us a bit more about your background. Like, how did you get involved in hackathons? Was there a particular organization that you worked with to go to these, or do you just pay attention to like all the hackathons? Are they all local? Do you travel for them? Like all that kind of stuff?
So I had an interesting start to hackathons because I did not actually start as a hacker at one of these places. I wasn't actually living at my first hackathon. I was
Okay.
volunteering there. And that kind of happened for me because when I joined college as a freshman, I got involved in some co-curricular activities with a few of our clubs. And a couple of these clubs, three of them, they were actually coming together to organize a technical fest within our department here at the college, and that actually featured a hackathon. So I got involved volunteering at this hackathon, and this hackathon saw students from my university, as well as from other universities in my local region, which was New Delhi, which is the national capital. So
Right.
Delhi and a couple of neighboring cities, they're pretty well connected. So and they do have a huge college density. So we had over 150, about
Wow.
160 hackers join in for that particular event, and I think that's kind of what exposed me to this entire world. Following which, I did continue volunteering in our university, of course, but I started looking at community initiatives, events, mini hackathons outside college as well. And
Hmm.
that actually exposed me to a really, really cool organization called Major League Hacking.
Yep.
And MLH is a public benefit corporation here in the US. But it's a wonderful bunch of folks. And they are at this point the global hacker community to be a part of.
Yeah.
So I actually got more and more involved with them. I have hacked at quite a few of their own hackathons. I also actually contract with them as a coach. So I
Oh, cool.
even through them, I do go out to help other student organizers, mentor students at hackathons, and so on.
That's great.
So they really really expanded my worldview when it came to hackathons. What also happened in the middle of this was we saw the start of the pandemic. So actually, a lot of the first hackathons I was supposed to hack at got cancelled
Mm.
because they were in person, but with the
Right.
pandemic ushering in, that just wasn't possible. That, however, gave me access to a lot of global opportunities that also went remote at the same time. So, hackathons which Major League Hacking hosted, and a lot of major events otherwise, such as Hack MIT, Hack the North from Canada. These were hackathons I got the opportunity to participate in as well. And I could do that sitting at home. So,
Yeah.
it did allow me to get active and get participating with a variety of hackathons all around the globe.
So how many hackathons have you been a part of now?
So I think if I include hackathons I've hacked at, mentored at, um, volunteered at. And both online and offline, of course, because I've
Sure.
been involved in a few of on both fronts. I can probably say more than 50 at this point.
More than 50. Wow. That's
Yeah.
amazing. That's a lot. I've been to a handful. I'd say probably less than 10. Sometimes as a hacker,
But there's
sometimes as
always scope for
support. And
more. Yeah.
yeah, but they're a lot of work. Like it can feel like a lot of work,
Oh
especially
yeah.
when it's like, oh, this weekend we're gonna do this hackathon. And you've got like 48 hours to come up with some code, and there's always these
It can be
interesting,
tiring. Yeah.
yeah, always these very interesting things about are people bringing code, or are they actually writing it from scratch? Looking at the quality of things, and trying to imagine, like, are you know did you start working on this app like 2 months ago and you heard about the hackathon and you've been building code ever since, and you show up and you're like, I magically wrote this app over the
Yeah.
weekend. It's like world class kind of thing. But then you see these other hackathons that are meant to be like months and months long, where it'll start like in February. You
Yeah.
form your team, it launches in March, you have until like April or May to finish the code, and then June and July you present, and then whatever, then they don't announce prizes until like October, November. Like some of them can be a really long time. And do
It's
you think
true.
that there's
That's
do you
true.
think there's a benefit of one over the other, like just a quick little weekend hackathon versus one that's months and months long?
Absolutely, yes. I think with both sorts of hackathons, I've been a participant on both fronts. I've definitely, the quantity of weekend hackathons you can do is probably a lot more versus a lot of longer term hackathons, but
Okay.
both have their own pros. For example, when I'm at weekend hackathons, I kind of use these to kind of maybe learn a quick little concept. Like the first app that I made with Xamarin at the tech that I mentioned earlier was actually at one of these hackathons. It was a weekend hackathon. I wanted to try out Xamarin. I wanted to see how I could use a database along with it. So I tried out Xamarin and Azure Cosmos DB together. It was a little CRUD app, but I used that to learn. Similarly, when I was working with web APIs and serverless Azure functions, I wanted to try that out. So I used a hackathon, one of these shorter ones, to come up with a small little hack, smaller scope. So I think for that matter, these allowed me to kind of work on smaller projects in a more rapid fashion, because the pressure that a smaller hackathon creates can actually be immensely beneficial in this manner. Whereas when I talk about a longer term hackathon, I think that allowed me to work with my team and maybe try and build a full fledged product. Right? We could go through more iterations. We could break more things and rebuild, and then break again and then rebuild. We could get more user research, and we could actually learn from people, see how, understand from their experiences. So it allowed us to build better products,
Right.
if you would
Sure.
take it like that. And I think both of them had their benefits because they've both got different contexts, right? So you do learn different sides of development from both of these experiences.
Yeah, for sure. See a message in chat from Sethi. He says, I attended a tech disrupt event. I was invited to an after party downtown. I didn't know anyone there except one person, so I met three more senior devs, a VP from Neo Financial, and from networking that day, they notified that they're not looking for a junior dev, but they invited me downtown to their office to meet the engineering director and the software manager to discuss my
Oh,
experience. So my question is, what should I ask? What should I expect? It's definitely it's definitely a coding interview. Their tech
yeah.
stack is TypeScript, Node, GraphQL, React, AWS, and a lot of JS frameworks and libraries. I mean, first of all, I've said this on the stream a ton of times. Networking is going to get you like into an interview process way faster than just sending out resumes.
That's true.
And I think
I
you
think if
can
I'm
say the same thing
honest,
about hackathons. Yeah.
my internship, I've done three different internships in three different spaces. I interned as a community intern, as a user researcher, as well as a backend developer over two companies.
Yeah.
The first two were at the same place, and the backend development internship was at another. And every single one of them was through network. I don't think I got into either of these roles through conventional large scale hiring processes.
Mhm.
And the reason why networking really helps is because it allows for more personalized interactions, right? But so if I talk about my backend development internship, where I was working primarily with .NET and Azure. What happened is because I had a personalized connection with the person who was recruiting me. In fact, it was a small little consultancy, so they were actually one of the leading folks there, and because I had this personalized interaction, I could tell exactly what I knew, what I did not know, so they could guide me on what I had to learn, and accordingly
Gotcha.
match me a lot better with the role that they needed. So when they were looking for they had a couple of projects. One had more focus on big data, the other one needed someone who was prioritizing on APIs. So they put me on the API front, and that needed some serverless work, so that actually fit very well for me because I've tried, and I've hacked a lot with serverless tech. So I think that allowed them to fit me a lot better into the organization, and for me to figure out who I could work with, whether their
Mhm.
culture fit my own, and so on. And it does skip the line, if I'm honest. If they have a general
Yeah.
application, chances are they're gonna have a larger number of resumes that they have to respond to as well, right? This kind of acts as a cheat code as well, because they know your background, they know where you're coming from, they know what you
Right.
bring to the table already.
Yeah.
So chances are that what they'd be looking for in a resume, they don't need to because of this interaction.
Yeah. That's for sure. That's for sure. Seth, you followed him in chat. I think this was great for me. Should I let them know that, if asked, that I'm currently working in construction, and also I think I do great meeting people in person rather than online events. I wouldn't worry too much about letting them
Yeah.
know like, oh, I prefer to meet people over like online things. Just go to their office, just hang out with them. Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
okay to tell them that you're
Um,
currently working in construction. They might see that from your resume anyway, or from having chatted with you. As far as other questions to ask them, I would say, like, what would it take to support an entry level dev on your team? Like, I know you don't have that role open now, but what would it take? Would it take, like, would you have to hire a couple more senior devs to make sure that there's support there? Or, are you worried about how quickly I'll get up and running on a particular technology? It sounds like they've got quite a tech stack going on there with TypeScript, Node, GraphQL,
that's an
React, AWS,
extensive.
lots of other
Yeah.
frameworks and stuff. So there would be a lot for you to learn. So I would ask questions about, can I go build like a little side project and show you what I'm capable of using these technologies? Like, can you give me like an idea of like something I can do to prove that I could like step into this job? Maybe not hit the ground running, but I could at least come to the job and bring some amount of expertise or skill. Maybe not expertise, but like skill in software development and just the process and communication and so on. So I'd be asking a lot of questions about how they sort of
Yeah.
put these things together, like what kind of database is behind GraphQL, so that you could maybe set that up yourself. Like just set up a local development environment yourself where you've got a database with GraphQL with Node, and get into. I think it would be Apollo on the front end if you're going to talk to GraphQL from JavaScript. Maybe whether you've got time to learn TypeScript as well. There's going to be a lot of technologies and there's going to be a lot to learn, but say like, hey, could you give me a week to put something together and just see what I'm capable of,
Yeah.
and just put it out there, right? They say you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, so just put it out there and say, I'm willing to do some work to show you that I can do this kind of job, that I can learn quickly, that I can apply that
Yeah.
knowledge, I can build a little project for you. You don't want to be overly aggressive with it, because if they're really like, no, we're not hiring an entry level dev, then there's not much you can say to change your mind. But you could start to then shift the conversation towards, what could I do? Like, how could I be part of a company like yours? How could I prove my skill? Like, what could that look like? I think that'll definitely help out. As far as that. Aditya, any other thoughts on questions that Seth you could ask?
Yeah, I think with me, I would actually go forward and ensure that I mention that I'm coming out of construction if I was in your position, because um, I think it would also help me understand how they perceive and look at your experiences, right? Whether they appreciate your background, or whether they look down upon it, and that would give me a lot of insights about the culture they've got at that organization. So I think um, it's also just as important to be able to understand that, right? Secondly, I think if you can ask what sort of work they're doing, and those were fantastic questions, right? Like if you're talking about what database they've got at the back, you could actually give yourself a chance to learn something new as well. In fact, I remember when I was going through my internship process, I know there were learning gaps I had. And after my discussion, the person who I was going to be working under straight up gave me two projects to work on and two problem
Cool.
statements to work on and build out that were actually relevant to the project that I ended up
Mhm.
working in once I started my internship. Because I remember when the two projects that I got for my internship where I was asked to maybe work on a little JWT authentication example with .NET with web APIs, and the second thing was a CRUD sample essentially.
Mhm.
And both of those, like even with the CRUD sample, what we were working with is SQL Server and .NET, and that's actually what we ended up using for the project at the end as well. So it helped me get acquainted with the project I interned on a lot faster, and I think I would definitely recommend asking more about the tech. Secondly, if they are adamant that they don't have an entry level position available, that's totally all right. Even if you end up building a sort of a relation with them, I have known people to recommend um, potential candidates to other organizations that they have good terms with as well. Like, for example, if any of my friends are recruiting and I know there's someone who has the potential to kind of join and make an impact at those places, even if my company does not have space, I'm more than happy to recommend someone over, right? Because we have our relations as well, and we want to make sure that we're all growing together that way.
Mhm.
Both
So,
my acquaintances, my folks I collaborate with, they should be able to get good candidates as well. So we do tend to keep some of our, we keep our lookout for not just us but people we know as well.
yeah,
And
it's great.
you never know that you might end up getting recommended at another organization if these folks don't have space as well. So it's always good to have those
Mhm.
questions and to be able to discuss and build a sort of a relation here. Because one thing about
Yeah,
networks is I think, especially since a lot of us went remote, for a lot of us our networks became equivalent to our LinkedIn connections. But just a connection, a follow request, and a follow back is not what a network is. There has to
right.
be a two-way
Engagement.
conversation.
Yeah.
Exactly. And if you can build that engagement, you end up building a relation that's going to
Mhm.
last, right?
Yeah.
So that's what you should strive for.
Yeah. Sethi also mentioned in chat the VP hinted they might have a position open quite soon as they're currently expanding in Winnipeg and Calgary, and you're currently around the Winnipeg area. So one thing you could ask is, until that office opens, could I work remote? And then once that
Yeah.
office opens in Winnipeg, and I just join that office. So if there's a possibility of, can I join the team, get some training, and then I can be like an integral part of like starting that Winnipeg team, that could be beneficial. I also saw your chat message that you're currently doing some courses in TypeScript and GraphQL, so that's fantastic.
Awesome.
Awesome. Just a quick note for everybody. We got a little over 20 viewers in chat. Hello to everybody. Hope your Sunday is going fantastic. Only 3 people have entered the giveaway, so go check out this thing up here. Go type !giveaway in chat. Every time I stream in the month of October, I'm going to be giving away some 3D printed goodies. As an example, we've got a number of kits that you'll be able to get, and they're just little 3D printed cards that you'll take apart. This is Deep Space Nine. We've also got a Millennium Falcon, things like this. And so when if
That's
you were
really cool.
selected as the giveaway recipient, then you can say, do you want Star Wars or Star Trek? And I will like put some Star Wars or Star Trek stuff. Or you can say, I want a toy. For example, we've got this little catapult thing, and I actually remember to bring the model of it. So this is what it looks like once it's assembled. And
Wow.
everything on this is 3D printed, and it just comes down and springs back up. It's all 3D printed. It's great if you've got a pet and you want to fling some treats across the room. You just load it up in there and like fling it across the room. It's great fun. Just don't have your kids like fling food around the kitchen. That would be bad. But then I'm also going to be doing sets of holiday decorations as well. And so if you're selected as a giveaway winner, you'll give me one of 4 choices: Star Wars, Star Trek, holiday, or toys. And I will figure out like 1 or 2 of these kits, get it in an envelope. I'm going to do like a couple of mailings over the month of October, so it may take a few weeks to get there. But go ahead and type !giveaway in chat and get in there. There's only 5 of you in there. There's 22 people viewing the stream right now. So get in on the giveaway. Every time I stream in October, I'm going to do a daily giveaway like this, and I'm going to like keep track of your names. And then every stream that you come by and enter that stream's giveaway is going to give you an entry into a big giveaway that we're going to do at the end of the month. And I'm not going to tell you what those prizes are yet. But every time you enter one of the daily giveaways or the stream giveaways, you're going to get an entry into the monthly giveaway later on. And that's going to increase your chances. So come by often. I'm going to have a few additional stream dates throughout the month of October, just to make it a little more interesting, give everybody a little extra chance to get in on the big prize at the end of the month. But all of this is in support of my Diversity in Tech fundraiser. So I would appreciate any donations for that as well. I would appreciate donations over subscriptions, because the donation money, I get 100% of that money, and it's all going into that pool, and then I match that money. I'm a big believer in diversity in tech, and I want to, make as much impact as I can. I've got 2 organizations right now that I'm like going through the last little bit of evaluation on, should it be this group or that group? And once I get that chosen, I'll be sure to let everybody know. So, let's see. Rahomo says called out giveaway. Yep, yeah. All y'all are lurking in the stream, but you're not entering the giveaway. So go ahead and type !giveaway. And that'll give you an entry. We're up to 7 entries now, so got about a third of our viewers in there. And Aditya, of course, you're welcome to enter the giveaway as well.
I was just gonna do that.
Awesome, cool. So we chatted a lot about hackathons. We chatted a lot about just coming up with project ideas. When you go to these hackathons, they're usually like around a theme of some kind, like climate impact or political impact or civic tech, or it could be like, it's a hackathon around a particular technology, like maybe AppWrite puts on a hackathon. You do something just entirely about that tech. How do you come up with project ideas? Like what kinds of tools or like idea generators or anything like that do you utilize when you go to like 50 hackathons? You've been to a couple of these. Like, how do you come up with something new and novel where it's not like, oh, there's Aditya, I bet he's going to do that, magic 8-ball application again? Like, how do you come up with something new every time?
Yeah. So I think for me, my comfort process is that I try to look at problems that I want to solve for me first. Right. Like, for example, if I'm having trouble with maybe a scheduler for my alarms, and I want a custom message or something, maybe I'll work on that. If I want to, like, I've actually done prank apps at hackathons as well, just because I wanted to do prank a friend of mine on their birthday, so I kind of
Nice.
worked on that. I've gone on to some more serious problems around education. That's a space that I've liked to work in quite a lot as well. So for me, I try to look at problems that I may have experienced or people close to me have experienced. Then I see whether that problem is scaling out in society around me. And if I kind of get a mix of both, if it's a problem that's close to me and a problem that exists socially, I think that's kind of a winning combination that you could focus at, right? Because it's a real world problem. It's a problem
Right.
that matters to you. So you would be more committed as well. And that's definitely something I've done. And then of course there's more fun hacks, right? Like I have a comfort hack that I kind of like to present about as well, which is basically one where I use Twilio to rickroll people on call. So they kind of just get a call, and then they get the nice "Never Gonna Give You Up" song by Rick Astley on call. And,
That's great.
yeah, so it's just
That's fun.
hackathon. When we talk about ideas for hackathons, look at your own lives, look at your friends, look at your families. I think those are the best places to look at. And then sometimes if you're not getting an idea, you can just join someone else and work on something on their mind
Sure.
as well. Like a few friends of mine and we worked on a hackathon a while back where this hackathon, so the theme was focused around comics and cartoons. So we kind of used Marvel's API to get their entire listing of comics and superheroes, um, to try and scrape and find the best priced versions on maybe eBay, for example. So that was actually an idea a friend of mine came up with, and I just kind of joined in because I thought that was cool. But that's not something I would have thought of first. So
Right.
sometimes you can just ask what other people are working on and join them on
Yeah.
that as well.
A lot of these hackathons, like people try to form teams, or someone will come with an idea and they don't know how to do the software side of it, and they're
recommend
looking
that
for
so
developers. It's
strongly.
like, I've got this really
Yeah.
great idea, I just need people to help build it. or they're really good on the front end, but they need a back end, or they're good on back end, they need front end. So there's I would say front end developers are probably in very high demand at most
Oh
hackathons
yeah.
in my experience. So yeah.
Yeah, there's a good mix of those, and it's very rare to find someone who's kind of got design front end and back end experience, and then they've also got the capability to pitch it. In
For
general, I
sure.
would actually not recommend people to hack solo. I've done it. I
Mhm.
don't recommend it. I think it's
I
not
did it
that it is
once.
not doable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did it once or twice actually. I think the second time was just because I wanted to actually work on an app for a demo I was trying to present on a
Mm.
live stream, and I thought it's just a good place to kind of get it done fast because
Yeah,
I like the pressure of a hackathon. Uh,
yeah.
but my first hackathon, otherwise, I had solo, and if I've ever tried to compete at a hackathon after that, never soloed again.
That's funny. Yeah, I so
Yeah.
we had Intel actually came through my area, and they were doing this roadshow
Oh,
thing, and they were giving out like hardware kits. And it was the Intel Edison board. So it was this big
yeah.
sort of motherboard. You put their chip on it, and the chip was basically a Linux operating system. Like it was running a Linux operating system, so you could write whatever code you wanted that would compile on Linux. Um, and they had all these different sensors that you could hook up. And so I basically built a lawn sprinkler interrupt system. So a lot of people either have smart
Wow.
sprinklers or they have dumb sprinklers, which just you set on a timer and they just go off at 4 a.m. every day. But what I wanted to do was build something that because I had at the time just the dumb sprinkler, but I wanted something where I could say, if it just rained last night, don't water the lawn today. Or if it's going to rain later today, don't water the lawn this morning. But then also have moisture sensors out in the yard that feed back to also figure out, like, regardless of whether it's going to rain, if the soil already has enough moisture, then you also don't need to water the lawn right now. Or if it's
Yeah.
expecting to be 90 degrees tomorrow or 100 degrees tomorrow or like 40 degrees Celsius kind of thing. Like if it's going to be extremely hot, go ahead and water the lawn a whole bunch because it's going to need it over the next couple of days. So like just building that kind of logic. And but if it needed to
Yeah.
stop the sprinkler, it would actually trip a relay, which would cut power to like not allowing the sprinkler to actually activate. And
That's actually
so
pretty
I
cool
did it. I did it by
feature.
myself. I did it by myself, and I won second place at this thing. And the
That's
number
so
one
cool.
the number one team had 5 or 6 people, and the number three team had like 3 or 4 people. And they're all going up at the end, and they're all presenting their project, and I'm like, oh, that project's really good. There's no way I won if they got like third place. There's no way I won. And then they called my name for second place. I'm like, what? And I got up there and they're like, we like that you weren't trying to invent a whole new smart sprinkler. You're trying to cater to people that
Yeah.
already have a sprinkler and you just want to halt, that process from happening. So like Aditi was saying, like just come up with a real world scenario, whether it's just a problem for yourself
Yeah.
or a problem for someone else or just something that you see. And one of the things that actually got me thinking about that is I was driving to work before the hackathon and I'm trying to think of like what ideas could I do, and it was pouring rain outside, like just pouring rain. And while I'm driving to work, you see these grass strips in between the road, and the sprinklers are running full blast, and it's pouring rain outside. I'm like, what a waste of water, what a waste of resources that I'm paying my tax money for. Like why not shut off the sprinklers if it's pouring rain outside? And I'm like, why don't we shut off the sprinklers if it's pouring rain outside? And of course, as soon as I built this thing out, all my friends on Twitter were like, when's this going on Kickstarter? I'm like, I thought about it. And then I actually found a smart sprinkler company local that were actually developing a smart sprinkler. And I debated actually applying for a job there. I thought it might have been interesting, but at the same time, there were limitations on what I wanted to do and like the kind of application I wanted to be building and stuff like that. So I decided not to pursue it. But yeah, I got a cool little medal. It's hanging in the office,
That's
and
awesome.
yeah, it was a lot of fun. I got like I want to say it was like $1,000 Amazon gift card or something that I didn't have to share with anybody
Wow.
because I did it by myself. You know, so
That's awesome. That's so cool. Um, one thing that I do recommend if you're at a hackathon and you've got an idea like that maybe you don't want to push forward, maybe you could open source it, right? That's something that I've done with most of my projects, if not all.
Yeah.
And I think that way it just exposes them to so many more people. They can discover it. If someone
Right.
wants to add something new to it, they ideally could. So that's another great way of that's actually a really great way of showcasing your own skills, especially if you're looking to find a new job. Like I know for a fact my hackathon projects were still are on my GitHub. And when I was interviewing with AppWrite, that actually came up because we are an open
Hmm.
source company entirely.
Sure.
So and even otherwise, I think it's just a great way for you to showcase your skills outside of schoolwork, right?
Yeah,
And that
definitely.
is if you are pursuing a technical degree at school. So many people might actually not be doing that, but that doesn't mean tech's not got career opportunities available, right? So open sourcing your projects is a fantastic way to showcase your skills otherwise.
Yep. That's for sure. Yeah, and it doesn't have to be like an earth changing kind of project. It can just be like something that you're passionate about and something that you want to
Yeah,
do. Kind of like what Aditya was saying too. Like when it's an idea that you have, you're going to be able to speak to it a whole lot more. You're going to speak. Like if people ask you about the project, you're going to have a lot more passion and a lot more excitement and a lot more energy talking about it than just like,
yeah,
oh yeah, I had to build that thing for school. It was like one of several projects I had to do. Like you're not going to come across as excited as like, oh, let me tell you about the sprinkler thing that I did, right? And like you're gonna get a little bit more energetic about it, and they'll see that energy and they'll see that
yeah.
interest, and that's going to really stand out. Like the energy that you bring to that interview is going to really stand out. So again, like coming up with personal projects and so on is beneficial, especially when it's something that you get to design. I think you bring a lot more to the interview with that. But let's talk about like how do you juggle school and juggle hackathons and maybe work and things like that, because these hackathons can be pretty intense as far as a time commitment. Not everybody's got the time or the privilege to go to these things. How can people get
That's true.
involved in things like hackathons or just you know meetup code events and things like that to learn about a technology if they're really like strapped on time? Like what would you suggest?
So I think one good thing about a lot of these meetups and hackathons is that they're very centered around weekends. They're probably Saturday or Sunday events, and I can't say for every place. I know that around me, we prefer weekends simply because if someone's got their job or someone's got schoolwork, chances are they're probably not gonna leave that for a little meetup, right? So they are weekend centric, and one of the best things about this space is that they're good to do doesn't mean you have to force yourself to immerse in all of these opportunities. If I liked hackathons, that didn't mean I was at a hackathon every weekend in every month, right? It could mean that maybe one weekend or two weekends, or there were sometimes months if I had exams I wouldn't go, and then there were some months where I was just a lot more free. So maybe two hackathons is where I helped at one and I built at one.
Yeah.
So you could create a balance like that for yourself, and it's you dip your toes as much as you're comfortable. You don't have to force yourself, because an occasion like a hackathon, if you're participating at one, I think the best part about a hackathon is that it's designed to encourage you to do what you want, right?
Yeah.
Like if you
True.
think about this, if you're in school for 3 or 4 years, how many opportunities are designed for you to do something that just you want to work on, rather than something that is expected of you by
Right.
the
Something that's been
faculty
assigned.
or
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
recruiter? Exactly. So with a hackathon, you just do as much as you're comfortable, right? If that means one weekend in 2 months, one weekend in 4 months, or just a weekend every month, you decide what you're comfortable with.
Right.
um, Definitely, the good thing is that in the world right now, aside from offline events, there are so many online hackathons that you could participate in, which you could do just along with schoolwork, right? Like you could do a lot of these just from the comfort of your home. You don't have to travel out of town, out of state anymore to do that. So these could be a good starting point for a lot of people as well.
Yep. Very cool.
In
Awesome.
fact, if there are people in school right now, let me throw in a little link here. Um, Major League Hacking, they actually have an events listing where they've got both their own events as well as college events that they're partnered with, that they're supporting. So, and then they keep updating this listing every month as soon as they're onboarding and new hackathons onto there. and partnering with them, or hackathons they're hosting on their own. They've got them all
Mhm.
listed. So if you're someone who's in school and you're looking for hackathons, this is a fantastic place to visit.
It's awesome. Is Swift still part of MLH?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I worked
I
with.
was
Oh, Nick
very
is there
glad
too.
to. I was very glad to catch up with them very recently um, because I think I've been with MLH for 2 years, and we finally had the first Asia Pacific in-person event since I joined. So
Oh, that's
Nick
cool.
came over to India to train us, and then
Nice.
Swift and Mary flew over. So we did an India conference because HackCon happened in New York this year. I was
Okay.
fortunate enough to visit because I got my visa, but a lot of folks around here weren't able to. So they actually did an edition here in New Delhi just this last month, in fact, and they are planning one in Europe, probably around London in November as well.
Okay.
So yeah,
It's
Swift's
awesome.
still there, John's still there, Nick's still around, and then
Yep.
they're all still as energetic as ever.
That's great. I worked with Nick and Swift when I was at SendGrid,
Oh, that is
and
so
then
cool. I had no idea.
I think Swift left first, and like he was on the DevRel team
John
with
came
Nick,
after, yeah.
and I think Swift left to go either start MLH or like be one of the like first
So
people with MLH or
yeah,
something like that.
he founded MLH, and
Yeah.
then John was, I think, working with Value at the same time. So then John joined
Okay.
to become the co-founder, and Nick came a few folks after. So uh, yeah, that's so cool. I didn't know you were at Centred
Yeah.
earlier. I'm actually a part of Value's Champions program right now, and I tried
Oh,
Centred
nice.
a recent, just recently, and it's really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Cool deal. Well, we're gonna do the giveaway in probably 20 minutes or so. So if you haven't yet, go ahead and type !giveaway in chat, and we'll do the giveaway. You'll have a choice of 4 different types of 3D printed things, and it's going to give you an entry into the big giveaway we're going to do at the end of the month. So definitely get in the giveaway as often as you can. If I'm streaming, I'm doing a giveaway throughout the month of October,
It's
basically.
awesome.
And these little kit cards, I'm going to do my best to try to mail these all over the place. If postage becomes an issue, then I'll contact you offline and we'll work something out. But yeah, get in on the giveaway for sure, Gafe Man. Good job getting in there. Let's see, did I miss anything else in chat? Someone else actually mentioned that they went to a 3D printing hackathon, which should be kind of
Ooh,
interesting. I'm curious what goes on at one of those. I'm in
probably
the middle of
prioritized in modeling, and yeah.
yeah, yeah. I'm in the middle of building a 3D printer right here. That's what this red frame is. I'm building a Voron right now. I'm going through and like
So
trying to get all the
so
little.
if you're into that, I actually have a teammate who at AppWrite whose side business is that he 3D prints
Okay.
all of these masks of
Hmm.
comic book heroes and villains and so on.
Oh yeah,
And
that's
I
great.
don't have it with me right now, but I know he sent over a Batman mask that fits my head a little while
Oh,
back.
I got
And
one
he's
to show you
actually got
there.
a really good.
I got one to show you.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, it's not Batman, but it's pretty fun.
Correct.
So this is a clone trooper helmet that somebody modified. Also be Hello Kitty. It's a Hello Kitty clone trooper. So they basically took the existing
That's
helmet
so
and they
cool.
put ears and the bow on it over on the side. But it's got this really cool like red visor in it. I don't know if you'll be able to tell the.
That's awesome.
So it's got this really
So
cool red visor in
I've
there.
just
Yeah.
shared a link. Yeah, like I've shared a link in the chat as well for that store because I think they've got a Mandalorian helmet and a couple of Batman cowls and a Nightwing
It's
mask
awesome.
and a Batgirl cowl, stuff like that. So it's honestly really cool.
Forest.
And
Yeah, I'll definitely check that out.
yeah, I've so the mask that I've got is the one that is inspired from the Batman Arkham Knight game, and I think that should be one of that's. So, I'm not sure if it's listed right now. It was listed a while back, but
Okay.
they keep refreshing some of these, and I know they've especially with Halloween coming up, this could be a really cool place for a lot of
Yeah.
folks to get their
Oh,
costumes sorted.
some of their stuff looks really nice actually. Yeah. Dark Detective inspired helmet, $100. Nightwing mask for $35. Like you can make some money on these things. if the print quality is good
Yeah,
and the post processing
it's
and so
pretty
on is
good.
good, yeah, yeah, it's pretty
Yeah,
great
because
for
like
sure.
I'm a proud owner of one of these masks, so I can say it's
Yeah,
definitely really good.
that's fantastic. So Major Gamer Geek was following up in chat saying it was a hackathon about anything, and my team 3D printed prosthetic hands for kids. There are actually like national groups that you can be
Oh,
a part of that you can say like I want to sign up to 3D print, prosthetic parts, fingers or hands or like a whole gauntlet kind of thing. Basically they like you send them some samples so that they can verify the print quality and the assembly, and then they'll basically contact you and say we need this part in this size, and you go reshape everything and you print it and you ship it to them, and you have no idea who it's for, and the people that get it have no idea who you are. And so you just you make the thing, and you're helping a family that really needs it, because some of these prosthetics get really expensive and not everybody has good insurance to afford them.
yeah.
And having something where you can like go back and just 3D print, like, oh, you grab that thing too hard and it broke off the fingertip, just print another fingertip and send it along. Like it's amazing the involvement around like real world things that you can get into with 3D printing. When 2020 hit, there were about 500 of us in the Colorado region that got together and we started printing protective equipment. Mostly the headbands that the Prusa research group came up with, that you would put the acrylic on. And between the headbands and the masks and like just different accessories and so on that we were building, we made about 100,000 pieces of PPE. The 500 of us made about 100,000 pieces in about 4 or 5 months, and it was just like 24/7, just printing, and like figuring out how can we stack these headbands so that we can break them apart afterwards and like print a whole bunch at one time, as opposed to just printing one, which might take like an hour or two. So you can print them throughout the day, but then you wouldn't print at night because you're not going to be there to like take it off and start a new one. And so people were trying to figure out how can we like build a stack of 5 or 10 so that it can print overnight. So you wake up in the morning and that's done, and then you can go back to like the 1 hour, 2 hour kind of prints, or you just
Yeah.
run like the constant like 5 stack or 10 stack or whatever, but also making sure that the quality was good. And so we would send them in and we would quality check them. Like we would try to bend them and snap them and break them and whatever. And if it broke too easily, we would give you suggestions on, try to change this setting or that setting to try to help people tune their printers and so on. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. Like some of the stuff that you get into for sure.
That's
Awesome.
awesome. That sounds so cool.
Yeah. So you just graduated, and then you got this job at AppWrite from there.
Yeah.
Um, were
So
there
I
were there any
actually started
particular?
off a little early.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was curious. Were there any particular projects like from hackathons or whatever that sort of stood out to them that made them think like, oh, we need to like get you on the team?
So I think when I was talking, as I mentioned, I've been a .NET boy, and the lovely thing about AppWrite is that they are very tech and stack agnostic because the product is as such. So I had a few projects that I could showcase, and one that's been very very close to me is a project that I like to call code capture. It's something that a couple of my friends and I worked on, and the problem that we wanted to solve is that in a lot of developing countries like India, across Africa, across Asia, especially, access to computers is still limited for a lot of people simply because it's not as affordable as it should be. I remember even back when I was in primary school, we had a very very limited number of computers. Like
Hmm.
uh, we had a class of 40 to 50 folks and just three computers, and so even though I was still privileged enough to have a computer at school, at home, I did not have enough access to computer science education as a younger kid, as maybe a 10-year-old or a 9-year-old. And I think once I went to high school, that's when I really really got exposed to what programming was and how extensive that world could be. um, so the solution that we thought about is that while computers still have some way to go, the access of mobile phones is very very prevalent. In fact, probably double the number of people, if not more, have access to phones as they have to computers. And there's some statistical analysis we did to get to those numbers based on research from our Census Bureau here in India, using numbers from UNESCO and so on. And so the solution we worked on is that in such countries, since the mode of computer science education is very pen and paper based, we're writing code. That's how we're practicing. That's how we're learning. Our assignments are based in this format. Our exams are written this way. Why not just use your phones to click a picture of the code, extract it, and then run it on your mobile? And so we worked on a web application that did exactly that. You could just click a picture of your code, extract it, and then you could edit it if you need to, because OCR just isn't perfect with handwritten text, right? You could edit it, the minor edits you needed to make, and then just compile it in your
Hmm.
browser, all of it. And
Yeah.
uh, for that, we had an extensive serverless infrastructure. We were using Azure's computer vision APIs as a part, which is a part of their cognitive services suite. And we actually set up custom VMs with compilers that we had an API connected with. So we'd actually send over the code to one of these VMs to compile locally, due to which we did not have to create a just-in-time compiler that would run on your phones. Because if you look at a platform like HackerRank or LeetCode or CodeChef or so on, these places where you typically practice coding, um, conventionally a lot of these use Ruby based solutions or so on to have a just-in-time compiler which
Right.
which uses your local resources, which is why they work on computers pretty well but not as much on your mobile phones. We kind of covered that problem by using a VM instead. So you weren't actually compiling on your local device anymore. So that's actually a solution that actually grew pretty well. It got us, our team, we worked on it for a few months. We did different iterations. So it started as a VS Code extension where, limited set of computers could extract code from multiple images. That went on to mobile phones. We tried a mobile app, we tried a web app, and so on. And this project, with this one, we actually became national winners in the education category. Uh,
Wow. Nice.
in Microsoft's Imagine Cup, which is their flagship hackathon for students all around the world.
Yeah.
So I know that's a project that I invested a lot of time in, my team did. Our biggest achievement with that probably was that it actually became a featured activity in the Hour of Code campaign for 2020. So because of that, we were actually able to reach students all around the world. I know we directly worked with 250 people. We had many more trying it out on their own for themselves because we created a curated learning activity for JavaScript, which taught fundamentals such as conditional statements, loops, and so on. So, and variables. So we actually were able to make an impact for people this way. We actually were able to help some people who did not have access to computers get started learning coding.
Yeah. That's
And
awesome.
I think that's why that project was very, very close to me. And that's something I talked about. And I think
Right.
it's a story that stood out for sure.
One hesitation that I think that newcomers to tech might have for getting involved at something like a hackathon is they're going to go and they're going to think like, oh, um, do I have to be an expert or nobody's going to want me on my team because I'm
Absolutely
new
not.
and things like that. And I think that there are definitely people there that are willing to be patient and let you sort of shadow or pair program and like watch and learn, or they might have you work on like some little portion of it. But it's definitely worth the effort. It's definitely worth the time to go and be a part of just the experience overall if you can. Like if there's one in your area or if there's one that you can attend remotely, I think it definitely helps from a project point of view for sure.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm gonna do one last call out for the giveaway. So get over on the giveaway over here. Gotta learn to point the right way. So do exclamation point giveaway in chat. We got a little over 20 viewers again. So let's go find out how many people are actually in the giveaway. We'll go, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. We only have 9 people in the giveaway. So right now you got a pretty good chance
We
of
need
winning.
more. Yeah.
But actually, we can't use the word winning. So you have a good chance of being selected for the giveaway. There turns out there are laws and legalities around like having a giveaway. You
Oh,
can't call them a winner; they are a recipient. Because if you say that you are winning something, some countries will actually ban not allowing people to enter giveaways because they
is
think
that
that
the
you're actually
case?
winning a prize instead of being a
Oh,
recipient of a gift. And so you are a recipient of a gift if you are selected today. So I'm trying really hard to like get the word like winner or like win a thing out of my vocabulary for the month, but it's hard. You get used to like, hey, you won, like congratulations. But yeah, go ahead and enter that giveaway. We're gonna do that giveaway in about 5 minutes or so. And every entry that you
Yeah.
get, so every time I stream, I'm going to do like a little giveaway of a 3D printed thing. And that's going to give you an entry into really big prizes that we're going to give away at the end of the month. So we're doing this all the month of October. I'm going to be streaming a couple of Tuesday nights from time to time, just to get a couple of extra entries. I won't be streaming this Tuesday, I don't think, because I'm going to be in Las Vegas for a work event, and I'll be probably flying home. So unless I happen to have some free time at the airport before I get on the flight, I probably won't stream. But if I do stream, I'm going to be streaming from the airport, like, at the gate, basically. And so I'm sure people are going to look at me kind of funny if I do any kind of live stream. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes, and what kind of interest level there is. I'll bring probably not like my big microphone, because that would be a pain to set up and whatever, just for a quick trip. But
Yeah.
I'll probably just be on a headset or something like that, so my audio won't be terrific. And I probably won't have like this whole layout, but all the stuff is still going to work because all these scripts run here at home, and so on. But yeah, if anybody's interested in that, so every time I stream in the month of October, you can go check out the website, techinterview.guide. There's a link on there for when I do live streaming, and you can see the schedule on there. And I've got a handful of Tuesdays on there that I'm going to be streaming, as well as Sunday, like today, and then Thursday, and then all the videos go up on YouTube afterward. But
Awesome.
actually, that reminds me, I think I forgot to upload the one with Zooey on Thursday. I need to go back
Oh,
and do that one
yeah.
today. But yeah, looking forward to just seeing what we can do as far as like donations and getting money in and so on for the fundraiser. I want to try to automate this a little bit more, because right now it's a very manual process of going in and like figuring out how much money people have donated, and how much money I make as a streamer. You can do !money in chat. It'll give you a link over to the website, and it shows you the whole breakdown of like, here's what I've gotten
Oh,
as donations on
nice.
PayPal. Here's how all the different ways I make money as a streamer, with ads and subs and gift subs and prime subs and all kind of stuff. So Extreme Dude, appreciate the sub. The thing with subscriptions on Twitch is I only get half of that money. And so you're paying Twitch $5 a month for that subscription. I only get half of that. And so if you subscribe to more than 2 channels on Twitch, it's actually more cost efficient for you, if you're just aiming to get rid of ads, is to subscribe to the Twitch Turbo. And it's like $9 a month, and you don't get ads. Like, I very rarely see ads. Um, and if you want to support a streamer, then just do a straight donation. They get 100% of that money. So pay for the Twitch Turbo, and then just donate to the people that you want to support on Twitch. It's more cost effective for us as streamers to do that, especially for something like the giveaway, because then all of that donation money goes into that pot, and then I match all of that money. So the 300 that's in there now, I'm going to add another 300 to that, hoping to raise $1,500 from community, and then I'll match that as well, and we'll give that away. We gave away $5,000 back in June to a group in San Francisco, and they got the
That's
additional
awesome.
money from Postman as well. They contacted me recently and said they got the money from my employer, so I was super excited about that. They were really thrilled. Cool. Well, let's do a giveaway, I think. So last chance. I'm gonna give everybody like
Yeah.
30 seconds, and then I'm gonna do the drawing for the daily giveaway. And then, so if you are selected from the giveaway, well, first of all, you need to be in chat, because you need to tell me what kind of gift you want. And again, the choice will be like Star Wars theme, Star Trek theme, like a toy of some kind, like the little catapult, or a holiday theme. For the holiday theme, it's going to be like, you've got like little Christmas trees. I've also got little ornaments and stuff that you can put together, and it'll make like a 3D ornament of some kind. And so if you want an ornament, then we can chat about that. But yeah, last chance to get in on that giveaway. Feisty Kitty, thanks for entering there. Last chance, everybody. Let's get in on that giveaway. We've got about a dozen or so entries. You're in Norway, so you think you're out of the contest. So these ones, I'm probably gonna see like what the shipping is going to be to ship internationally. So if you are a recipient, that's okay. I'll see what I can do. But I do want to be careful about shipping. I think for the big prizes at the end of the month, it will. Some of them are going to depend on whether you are international or not, as far as like what I'll be able to ship to people. I'm gonna try really hard though to get like little cardboard sleeves to put these in, and then they should be able to be mailed like anywhere in the world, and hopefully they'll show up okay. the nice thing about this plastic is it's bendable, it's flexible, and so if it goes in a cardboard thing and it gets bent a little bit during shipping, that's okay. As long as they don't like bend it right in half, then it would snap to pieces.
Yeah.
But I'll see what I can do as far as getting them shipped out internationally. So don't worry about it. Go ahead and enter the giveaway, and we'll go ahead and get we'll go ahead and draw in just a moment. I know I said 30 seconds, and that was like a minute and a half ago. But for reals this time, last chance. Go ahead and get in on that giveaway if you're not already. We got 21 people in chat. We only have about a dozen entries, so last chance. Then we're gonna go ahead and draw. So if I do bang giveaway, it'll give us some stats. So we have 11 entries, and we have 11 daily entries from 11 unique users. So as I run this command over the course of the month, we'll start to see like how many total entries are there for the monthly giveaway at the end. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and draw. So last chance here. A little audio cue is your chance to like hurry up and do exclamation point giveaway. All right, well, while we wait for any last second entries, Aditya, thank you for sharing your thoughts with us today. It was great to finally get you on the stream. I know we've been chatting back and forth for a couple of months now, trying to work out a time and get you scheduled. So I'm glad that we could actually connect again. Please say hi to the folks at Major League Hacking for me. I'd love to help out and be involved if possible with hackathons from Postman. We're often around at different events and so on. I think one of my colleagues right now is actually at a hackathon that NASA is putting on. So yeah, so cool. She's having fun with that right now. We don't typically host hackathons ourselves as Postman, but if we're nearby, like we would love to come by and like help people out, because a lot of these hackathons are dealing with APIs and so on. So we'd love to come by and help out. So maybe we can connect and do a little something. But yeah, appreciate your time. Go give Aditya a follow. Before I do that, let's do bang guest. So go ahead and connect with Aditya. His Twitter is over there in chat. So feel free to connect with Aditya. Cool. All right. Well, let's do the giveaway, and then we're gonna wrap up and we'll rate out for the day. So our daily winner, drum roll please. Daily recipient is Rahomo. So Rahomo, if you're still in chat, let me know. Just let me know that you're there, and then we'll have a conversation about which gift you would like. So Rahomo, if you were there in chat, we'll give you 30 seconds or so to respond. Cool. Aditya, any last things that you want to share? Any other links like that?
Yeah, I think I can probably throw in my portfolio link once, because I've got all my socials there as well.
Sweet. Cool. While you do that, Rahomo is there. So Rahomo, let me know what you would like. So we have the Star Wars theme, we have the Star Trek theme. So the Star Wars theme, we have things like the Land Speeder and the Millennium Falcon. I've also got some kits that are like little TIE fighters and X-Wings and things like that. So let me know if you want a Star Wars pack or if you want a Star Trek pack. The Star Trek pack, there's like lots of variations of the Enterprise, and there's like a Deep Space Nine. There are a handful of those kinds of things that you can put together, and they just make little 3D models. So if you want Star Trek, or if you want Holiday, or if you want Toy. Right now, the only toy that I've printed is the Catapult. But if you would like a toy-based kit card, I can get some ideas together. So let me know in chat. Do you want Star Wars, Star Trek, holiday theme, or toy? Star Trek would be great. All right, cool. So I'm gonna make a note of that. So Rahomo, do me a favor. Send me a whisper on Twitch, and I need your full name and your shipping address. And send me an email address as well, and I'll email you tracking info. If you don't give me an email, I'll send you the tracking info over Twitch Whisper, but it's easier for me to track that over email. So give me your full name, mailing address, and an email address. Pretty please. All right, so Star Trek. All right, well, congratulations, Rahomo. You are... What's that? Star.
I think the chat's buzzing with Trekkies right now.
Trekkies Unite, yeah, live long and prosper and all that stuff. My wife is very much a Trek fan. Come here. Come here.
Ah,
About almost 3 years ago, we got this guy. Come here. No, come here. Get up here.
oh, nice.
Hey, come here. There he is. This is Riker. So my wife being a Star Trek fan, I thought, well, if I name the puppy after a Star Trek character, surely she won't object. And it didn't help when he started chewing up furniture. But yeah, he's my furry little buddy, aren't you? So yeah, so naming him after a Star Trek character, I thought would have worked. But now that he's fully grown, she's great. Where's my pet Yoda? So that might be something I could print, like a larger version of like a baby Yoda or something like that. I've printed them in the past. They actually print out really nice.
Yeah,
Riker
I
sits
mean,
and cheers
honestly, that'd
weirdly.
be really cool. If you just give me a second,
Yeah,
I
no
like
worries.
my little toys as well. So
Yeah.
I know at my place we've got a little avocado here.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's very
I
cool.
think things like these would be really, really cool to have as well.
Yeah, too funny. Awesome. Well, thanks everybody for being in the stream today. Appreciate it. We'll catch you back. Like I said, I may try to stream on Tuesday if I can. If I've got the opportunity from the airport, I'll do like a quick stream on Tuesday just so people can have like an extra entry into the giveaway, and I'll just be around to chat and whatever. If folks have questions about career prep, interview prep, anything along those lines, I'll try to stream for half hour, maybe an hour. So it'll be a very short window. So make sure you follow, turn on that notification bell, and that'll give you an extra chance to enter the giveaway for the month of October. And again, any donations, any subs, any bits, all that stuff is going into this pool of money. And then I'm matching all of that. So appreciate any help that you could do there to help increase diversity in the tech industry. Very much appreciated. Like I said, I've got it narrowed down to 2 different organizations. So as soon as I get them picked, I'll be sure to announce that. And we'll see everybody soon. Let's go find a raid recipient as well. Let's go see who else is online today, if anybody. Let's see. A lot of programmers on today. Oh, you know what? Leon's online with 100 devs. Yeah, I think we'll go right into
Oh,
Leon.
that's nice.
Looks like he's just starting. Yeah, he just started. So, yeah, we'll go right over there. And Groxy, thanks for the follow as well. Something broke in the lights, so there we go. We'll manually blink the lights for you. But thanks for the follow. Appreciate that. I need to go fix a whole bunch of stuff. Apparently, Stream Deck updated their software, and so it's not working with OBS, and OBS upgraded their software.
Got my update.
Yeah, what a pain.
I,
So many.
I know the pain because I have a Stream Deck as well, and I know I've been skipping updates in the middle because of these things.
Yeah. Good times. All right, everybody. Well, I've set up the raid. We're going to go raid over to the 100 Devs group, learn with Leon, show some support over there. If you've got experience and knowledge in the tech industry, please help others that have questions. It's a really fantastic community. They're really, really good people. They spend a lot of time and energy helping people out, and there's a lot of people that are learning some really fantastic skills and getting jobs and so on. So we'll do our best to support them over there. And maybe we'll see you Tuesday. If not, we'll definitely see you on Thursday for the stream. Have a great Sunday, and thanks again, Aditya. Appreciate your time. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Having me.
All right, we'll chat with everybody soon. Cheers.